time it is!
Thank you all again for checking out the C Squared Hour. I'm your host, Chris, bringing you, we'll call this my post-Olympic episode, because I didn't do an episode last week. So what we'll go with is I was waiting for all the Olympic coverage to wrap up so I can give you my full analysis with no... That's not the reason I didn't do one last week. So obviously, as I start this off, as I go into this, teespring.com, C Squared Hour, buy some shit, alright? Make me feel like I didn't do that just as a waste of goddamn time. It could very well have been. But at least make me feel like I'm not just fucking wasting my time doing shit like that, trying to make free money. I know there's no such thing as free money. If you want, the harder I work, the moneyer I get. No, luckier. Whatever. Anyway, buy some shit from me. Alright. Yes, I know the store's not very organized. I'm figuring out how to do it right now. Shut the fuck up. Well, what were you doing over the last 2 weeks? God damn. I'm sorry, you just heard an out loud argument I was supposed to have in my head. Well, obviously, my longtime listeners will be asking where the other Chris is. With hockey season ramping up, you had the Olympic hockey stuff. Shit, I haven't done an episode since the Super Bowl. There was the whole Super Bowl thing. Head trauma has been on, wait for this, the front of Chris's mind. Get it? Because head... No? Okay. Alright. Anyway, he's been thinking a lot about it lately. And really quite worried about the future of sport. Considering that, the more we hear about head injuries and things along those lines, and are we going to be allowed to have contact sports soon? Will my grandkids get to see two Adonis-looking gentlemen knock their heads off every Sunday? God, I hope so. And you know what? Chris had that same hope. He was watching it was either Real Sports or E60 or one of those, sports investigation shows. He was watching an old one of those. Of course, it was another episode talking about head injuries and stuff like that. And they had a neurosurgeon, I believe it was. Not a neurologist. Neurosurgeon, I think. I don't remember. It was a jumbled phone call he gave to me. So they have one of those on there, right? A neuro something. They had a neuro something on there. And boiled down to a concussion, the brain moving too much in the head, hitting against the skull and shit like that, and, whatever, basically bruising. They boiled it down real stupid, for the early Saturday morning ESPN watchers who really gotta dumb it down for those people. Wake up at 6 on Saturday morning hoping to catch something riveting in the sports world. Guess that doesn't necessarily work on the West Coast since that's 9. Some shit could be starting at 9, but... Man, I am killing the arguing with myself thing today. Whew. Yeah, so he saw that's basically what a concussion boils down to. A light bulb went off in his head. And he got an idea. He's an idea man. That's what he is. The idea, what it comes down to... Well, before I get into that, right now, what's making him so busy is... Luckily, he can do this from his home. But he is looking for research hospitals, medical schools, things along those lines to work with him on this product to hopefully alleviate or lessen concussions. That product, he's under the impression that if you inject or something along those lines, some sort of foam or plasma material or something like that to act as like a shield between the brain and the skull, or maybe something to freeze everything between the brain and the skull, something along those lines. That's what he's looking to do. He's looking to make it so your brain doesn't move in your head no matter how hard you get hit. Think of that expanding insulation shit. Yeah, this is... Because what you want to do, if you want to expand your audience base, let's talk about stuff that only specific people will know, right? So that expanding insulation shit that you stick in between a wall and you spray it and it just goes poof, and just fills the space. Something like that for between the brain and the skull. That's what he's trying to get figured out, and that's where he is. He's really putting pen to paper. He's, knocking doors. He's making phone calls. He's really trying to make shit work out of this whole deal. So if you're wondering where he is this week, that's where he is. I have to say, it's an interesting thought, and I'm too stupid to figure out whether it would work or it wouldn't work, so I won't go too far into that. Yeah, I said I didn't do an episode because of the Olympics. No, it's because it was my birthday last week, and I decided to have a whole white girl birthday. Guys, actually, this is my birthday week, so yeah, I ended up on accident having a birthday week. I'm sorry. Went out Tuesday with the family. Got drunk at a bowling alley the day after. Had to recover from that. And then Saturday had another. And don't forget Friday. Went on a movie date. Yeah, I had a whole birthday week, guys. It was whole fucking birthday week because I'm not fucking special. I'm in my mid-30s. I shouldn't even give a fuck about birthdays anymore, right? Like, I think once you hit 30, birthdays are done, aren't they? Aren't they, it's no longer a birthday, it's the almost death. I don't know. You know what I did think? This is just off topic. If you forget the last episode, I talked about, Chris, whatever. A thing that really annoys me, I went in this whole, I'm not going to go into it again, the whole waving in traffic thing, your time's so much more important than mine, so I don't have to wait for you if you get out of my... Whatever. Noisy shit out of me. I've noticed less road communication since all the mask stuff went into effect. And maybe that's what it is. People get in their cars, and they're inside of a structure, so they subconsciously think no one can see them, or you can't see their expression, so they would just feel stupid to... I don't know. Just a thought that came to my head. Just trying to justify why people think that I owe them something so they don't have to give me acknowledgement that I got out of their fucking way. Sorry. White girl birthday week, yeah. Which brings me to my Friday birthday date, Randy. We went and saw a movie together. It was a fabulous time. The movie is exactly what we expected it to be. Hung out at a casual dining establishment's bar. That was something. Which leads me right to Randy. I have laid the gauntlet down. The offer is still there. I know there's people tired of hearing this offer, hearing me say it, and quite frankly, I'm tired of you ducking me too. The problem then becomes, if I just say, you know what? You're obviously too big of a bitch to say anything about it, or too big of a pussy to offer my or to take my offer, I'll just stop mentioning it. Then you win. So I have to keep mentioning it, even though I don't want to. Because I either have to beat you up or hear you call yourself a pussy to my legions of followers. That wasn't said right. But yeah, I'm tired of it too. But unfortunately, people, if any of you are tired of hearing this, you're going to have to get on him. Because honestly, ball's in his court. Even if I wanted to, at this point now, I could not back off. I couldn't back it off. That's just... I couldn't. I've backed myself in the corner. I'm pot committed, as they say, and don't even get me started on fucking poker. I've come too far. I'm at the point of no return. Whatever you will. I'm there. So, if you want me to come up with new shit to talk about, you're gonna have to talk to him, because I have to keep talking about it. I need to know what to do with a minute and a half of my show every fucking week, but every 2 weeks you fucking... So Randy, let's lace him up, bud. Huh? Something got me thinking earlier. I was listening to the radio, as I often do, and a song came on. I think it's... There we go, yeah, it's called A Certain Shade of Green by Incubus. Very enjoyable song to listen to. I would recommend it. Couldn't tell you much about what the song's about or anything like that. I wasn't listening that closely. All I know is they mentioned the year 2012. Anyone who talks shit about millennials needs to remember that they came to age in a time where the world ending December 21st of 2012 was a real concern. This is the excuse I'm using for, quite honestly, the past decade of mediocrity that my life has been. If you listen to quote-unquote experts and people who say they were doctors and who physically have documentation to say that they're doctors, they said that there's a real chance that when the Mayan calendar ended, December 21st, 2012, the world was going to end. Everyone in the millennial category, whether they knew it or not, had enough of that aura around them to think, damn, what's going... So, really, there's a whole generation of people, and it basically comes down to that millennial generation. I'm not going to argue with what's millennium. That generation, there's a generation of people who, whether they consciously knew it or not, expected their life to be over 10 years ago in December. So anything going on now, if their message that they're trying to get across seems confusing, or it seems like they're not doing anything with just this is in general, the people say, well, millennials, he says, so let's talk about millennials. It's like, every fucking episode, I find a way to just fucking make some random sound in the background. And anyway, when people talk about the age of millennials or that generation, first of all, if everything seems confusing when you look at the entire population of millennials, they're probably just as confused without knowing it. If you know a millennial personally that you're, well, what's going on with them, or what's up with them, or they don't make so much. You know why? Because they're 9 years past their expiration date. The expiration date that we had been told, me personally, since the mid 90s. I heard the 2012 thing before I heard the Y2K thing. And I knew the Y2K thing was bullshit because I knew, fuck, the Mayans didn't say shit about it, so what the fuck do I gotta worry about? So before we talk too much shit about millennials, and before we go too far into that, just remember, the last 9 years shouldn't have happened. That's the basis for my lack of any real accomplishments in the last 10 years, or the lack of forward momentum. Why are you just treading water in life? Because the world isn't supposed to exist right now, man. So let's come up with Gen Z. They can go fuck themselves. I don't know what to tell you about there, but yeah, 2012, our life was supposed to end. And it didn't. And you know what? We got to figure out what to do with it now, and we're goddamn well trying. I'm told I'm millennial age group, so that's what I'm going with. So we're fucking trying, okay? We are doing our damnedest. You would think, however, that going through that day, maybe it did work for some people. Maybe they go through that day and it was like a near-death experience. They like woke up on December 13th. I'm sorry. What was it? December 21st, 2012. Yeah, they woke up on December 22nd and they said, the air smells different today. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on a jog. That's what I'm going to do. And that person just ran a 5K for cancer or something. I don't know. I'm saying let's cut some people. If you came of age knowing that 2012 was going to kill you and it didn't, cut them some slack, all right? And that's also asking for me. I was supposed to be dead at 25. Supposed to be dead at 25. And no, the Mayans had to be fucking wrong. So you know what I say? Fuck the Mayans. What did the Aztecs say? Let's start going off their shit, huh? Fuck the Mayans. I don't know why I thought of that, but big news if you're in the state of Washington. They're removing the mask mandate indoors in a month. Why? If you're gonna remove it, just fucking remove it. Why do you need to? Well, we're gonna do it in 30 days. Just fucking do it. Why? New York's removing it. And New York was, not to, I'm not sure if we could say this about any part of New York anymore, but New York was kind of ground zero for U.S. COVID, wasn't it? So they're moving their mandate. California, I think, just did, but for some reason, the state of Washington needs to announce that it's gonna be in 30 days. There's two reasons I can think of for there to be a whole 30-day delay for the mask mandate to be removed, or whatever you may say. Or I can give you two reasons. One, our state representatives, legislator, what have you, are hoping for some reason that something comes up in the next 30 days to make us have to wear a mask, or make the mandate still make sense for who knows how long. There's something in them that says, you know what, we want to keep this going, but we're not. If New York's saying they're going to get rid of theirs, we don't really have an excuse to. Okay, so let's say we're gonna lift it, but not lift it quite yet, and hope that this thing comes up, which is funny. I just saw a news story. I'm not gonna have to read into it, but it was Omicron new variant or Omicron subvariant was the title of the news article. So, and it was from a Washington State news source. So, your boy might be onto something there. The other excuse, the whole mask thing being seen as a very liberal-sided argument, if you're going to make it, maybe the governor of Washington is trying to out-liberal everyone in the world. At least the country, but he's trying to out-liberal everybody. That's mostly what I think it is. It's like, oh yeah, you're going to remove your mask. I mean, look, I could keep it going for even longer. Fuck you guys. Which makes me curious if California and New York lifted their mandates. It'd be interesting how many other states still have theirs in effect, or I don't know. I came on, I was gonna start when I was looking into this. I originally thought it was the Washington State governor trying to out-liberal the rest of the country. Now that I saw that news article pop up right before I started recording this, there's a Omicron subvariant from a Washington State news channel putting that up. I started to think it was my first conclusion. They were hoping that whatever comes next is enough of an excuse to keep them on for another 4 months or whatever. I did surprise myself, however. Well, because as you guys know, I don't know what's going on a lot of times in my head. You've heard it earlier. I don't know. But I was reading through stuff. I saw the announcement on Twitter, and I start reading the comments, and I read a comment, and I was taken aback by the fact that I agreed with it. And I'm still a little upset that I agree with it. And I know why I shouldn't, but I still can't. The comment, of course, this is people who follow the Washington State governor who are commenting on this. Oh yeah, you're just trying to kill more lives come March. Why March? It's been 2 fucking years. I mean, whatever. One of these liberal Karens, nah, that's too hacky. I can't say liberal Karens. One of these people who appear to be a Caucasian middle-aged mother, not sure what her first name is, made this comment that schools are going to be out in 3 months. Why not lift the mandates for school when it comes to the summer? That makes a whole lot of fucking sense to me. Not the fact that I think, the mask thing or helping or hurting or that enough people are vaccinated or aren't vaccinated or any of those things. Not that, but it's... If the school year's almost over, why not just let it ride? You have 2 months left to say, hey, 2 more months. If this was coming out in November, I would say this lady is a nutty broad for commenting this. But looking at this and saying, well, by March 13th, you have less than 2 months left in school, so maybe keep it in effect for schools? I don't like the fact that I understand that argument. That if any of you know me or listen to me, honestly, I'm having quite the crisis of conscience right now. This could very well be my last episode. That sounds and seems like such a bullshit nutty argument, but every time I say it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get that. And if my head starts going to there for arguments like that, like I said, this might be my last episode. I don't know what else I can do. God, if I don't agree with myself, well, I never really agree with myself, but if I can't argue with myself as well anymore, fuck, I don't know. Anyway, math coming to the end in Washington in March. Except for Super Omicron is coming out now. So who the fuck knows? Okay, I didn't do an episode since the Super Bowl, so I'll give my quick analysis. Christ, the World Series of Poker fucking sucks now. Sorry, I have it on in the background right now. It's on CBS Sports Network now. And yeah, since it left ESPN, it's just not... No one gives a fuck anymore, I think is the problem. Winning the World Series of Poker used to be like, you know, hey, now I have money. Now I can buy the house that I just lost. But yeah, no, everyone's got a sponsor on their hat and shit like that. It's not fun anymore. World Series of Slots. That's what we need next. World Series of Keno. Yeah, anyone you're seeing isn't going home empty-handed. And with how much money is getting paid out to even like the 100th place now, there's no real drama anymore. There's no difference between... By the time you get to near the end, it's like everyone here is buying can buy a yacht based off what they win here. So who gives a flying fuck? And everyone who loses, is wearing some sort of sponsor shirt, so... Anyway, sorry about that. Super Bowl. I'm not going to gloat, but I predicted the Super Bowl exactly correct. Suck it, bitch. And I'm not going to tell you how I did it, because I did it on this show. So if you want to hear my prediction, you go back and listen, asshole. Or if you buy something from the store, I'll email you so you don't have to go back and listen. I don't know. My main takeaways from it, minus the, whatever you have, the Eli Apple, and it didn't appear the referees could find where their flag was until the fourth quarter. Which was alright in my book. I was watching that. I was saying, yeah, they're not throwing flags. I mean, there was that one face mask on the on the touchdown pass that probably should have been called. But it's like, yeah, if you're not... And then that last LA drive, there was like 3 flags for those bullshit little holding calls, and which they were all, if you go by the letter of the law and you go by what was probably called all year, probably all of them were penalties. And people who were bitching that they weren't penalties are dumb. But they weren't penalties that game. The referees established their standard and didn't stick to it. That's all it was until like the last 3 minutes of the game. And they're like, oh yeah, we're supposed to call a lot of shit. This is the NFL now. That was my first takeaway. Second takeaway, 50 Cent wasn't fat. Alright. 50 Cent is an old guy who forgot about cardio till about a year and a half ago. You can tell he's still working out, he's still lifting weights and shit like that. He just realized, oh yeah, fuck, now I have to do cardio because I'm old. So, yeah, before you say that, take a look, alright? He's doing just fine. Alright. And my last takeaway. I thought I had a lot more on that. There's a Law & Order reboot coming out, folks. Law & Order reboot. Please, Dick Wolf, NBC, don't fuck my childhood, please. I know everyone was worried about the Ghostbusters chick movie ruining their childhood or what. This is gonna get me bad. I have, no exaggeration, In the last 2 years, I would say I've probably watched a solid 6, 7. Christ, now when I think about it, a good 12 days worth of Law and Order while I've been doing other stuff. Going back to the old. Don't fuck this up. Please don't fuck this up. I'm worried. I'm worried, guys. I don't know who I am anymore. They're gonna rate my memory of the original Law and Order. Not the stupid one with the weird-faced chick, and not the one where the guy's too smart for his own good. Not those, no. The real one. So, we'll see. Man, I have a lot of soul searching to do over the next. The Law and Order reboot might be the end of my world as I know it, so to speak. It might be. I might have to go live in the hills or something. Oh, shut the fuck up. Okay, this is another thing I have to get off my chest. I didn't necessarily have this in my repertoire or my show prep sheet for this episode. But I just saw another thing. Yes, New York is shitty again. It just is. Sorry, folks. You had it too good for too long. The 90s, the 2000s, even into the 10s. You had your 30 years of New York being an okay place to be. Now you're back to New York City being the dump that it used to be. Sorry, but everything in life is cyclical, including New York City. What I'm concerned about for New York City and citizens, and if you were any sort of a humanist like I am, you'd be concerned about this too, but New York City, when it got really good, right? You have Disney stores and M&M stores in Times Square. Not a hooker to be found. Market correction is a bitch. And I would hate to see this market correction. So yes, New York sucks again. You knew it was going to. Stop being surprised. Like, oh, now we can't ride the subway. There was a guy shitting on the subway again. Well, yeah. You used to deal with worse, and you're going to deal with worse, and it's okay, because this is just the beginning of the market correction, alright? You had a bull market for too long. See, and I'm also using these Wall Street metaphors for you, so you can understand New York people. You can understand it a little bit more. You felt safe in the streets for too long. You had too much of a bull market in your city, where even the shitty parts weren't that bad. And now the good parts are going to get shitty for a while, because that's what New York is. See, LA was smart enough to spread out far enough, so if the garbage starts going to one place, there's enough room to go somewhere else. Well, New York's an island. You're trapped in there. So, you fought them off for a while. It's a bug infestation, right? Yeah, you can take care of it for a while, but eventually it's going to come back, no matter what you do. So, you're stuck with that. Sorry, New York. Alright, now to go into what the rest of my show was supposed to be about. Fix that there for you guys. Well, the fake sport event is over. The Olympics are over. Everyone feel invigorated by the spirit of competition and the coming together of all the world. I'll tell you, I have the best part about the Olympics, especially the Winter Olympics, is every sport has their professional commentators, And then the expert color analysis who, break down the technical side of things. Well, there's not a big market for color commentary in cross-country skiing. So now all of a sudden, once every 4 years, they got to pick this guy out and throw him in front of a camera and say, hey, hope this goes well for you, buddy. That is the best part of the Olympics. Watching and just listening for the real commentators, the guys who are actual broadcasters, just get annoyed or just try to fumble over dead silence or try to... That is the best part. Not everyone is designed to be a color commentator. That's the wrong way of saying it. Not every sport is designed to have a color commentator. Unfortunately, you have to. And unfortunately for these professional broadcasters, they have to deal with them. But that's the best part. The cross-country skiing. I don't know what, and I'm not saying that specifically. I don't even know if the one that made me write this down is cross-country skiing. I'm just saying no one watches cross-country skiing when it's not in the Olympics. Listen to them say something and just hearing the fucking just annoyed dead silence of the broadcasters. Like, what the or when he tries to throw it over there and he's like, yeah, what do you think? Well, that's not where the pole... That is... /was the best competition of the entire Olympics. Which commentator can put up, or that's not how I need to say that. Which broadcaster was able to do their job most effectively with shitty color commentating? That's what that was the biggest sport at the Olympics, and quite frankly, the biggest. Where is someone who commentates on, or the color commentator for speed skating gonna go? We don't put that shit on TV. Not against speed skating or anything, but they have nowhere to hone their skills until another 4 years. Nowhere to practice, so you ain't getting hired by a European, that's for damn sure. Why? I don't know. Another big thing I got to say about the Olympics. Johnny Weir, the color commentator for figure skating, very into fashion, according to what he says. Wears a lot of stuff and big hair, and hey, do what you want to do, buddy, but I'm gonna have to tell you something. You're nowhere close to the coolest gay guy, Rob Halford, alright? You're never gonna get there. So if you're trying to be the coolest gay guy in the world, you don't got it. Until you do something equivalent to head out to the highway, you're not even in the same game. You're not even in the same league, alright? So if you're just wearing weird shit and trying to be a big personality and trying to make sure everyone remembers you when you're on TV just to be that person, that's fine. That's all well and good. But if you're trying to take my boy's throne, sit down, buddy. You got a ways to go. I don't think you've ever taken a city by the 1 a.m., so get out of here. And the big story from the Olympics. A Russian athlete tested positive for a banned substance? Really? Russia, you say? They've had such a clean record with all these athletics and everything. I am flabbergasted that such a... Of course fucking Russia did it. It's been a thing since the fucking 80s. Rocky IV made a whole thing about Russians taking steroids. Like, it's been a thing. This ain't fucking new. Of course, if someone tests for a banned substance, it's gonna be from Russia. They already can't have their own fucking flag there for the same goddamn reason. They have to call themselves something else, like, oh, you're Russian Olympic athletes, but you're not for Russia. Like, we already did that. Like, let's just stop. I mean, fuck it. Quit inviting them. Who the fuck cares? I mean, you're gonna ban them from competing in fake sports? Like, yeah, if you want to do it, you gotta come through another country. You gotta, if you're a good enough athlete, another country will sponsor you, and you can do it through there. But yeah, just stop inviting them. 4 years ago, this shit hit the fan. 8 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, but yeah, they were the OAR, now they're the Russian Olympic. I mean, just stop inviting them. Just stop. But that goes against, no, fuck them. Fuck them. What? Why are we? I hesitate to say this, but I was that, because I was kind of this guy. But if you invited someone over who every Super Bowl party broke your fucking TV, would you say, okay, you can come over, but you can't root for the NFC team? And then the TV gets broken again. Okay, maybe it was just that NFC team. Maybe. No, just stop inviting them. Fuck them. Christ, they've had bigger shit to worry about over the last couple months, and, well, it really looks like it hit the fan today, but I'm not going to go into that because this is a lighthearted thing. But yeah, stop inviting them. Fuck them. And that Russian girl who tested positive for it, the substance, she had a terrible skate in her final or whatever, and, gave it away, and then people were surprised that the Russian skating coach was just mean to her. She was a terrible person. Of course. If you're gonna be coaching 15-year-old girls that intensely, you have to be a little bit of a bitch if you're gonna coach them to that level. Second of all, that Russian coach, did you see how much fucking fur her coat had? It wasn't a full fur coat, but the fact that there's any fur on your coat at a quote-unquote sporting competition, of course you're a cunt. Of course. How are we surprised? I took one look at her and I said, oh, she's going to make that girl cry. Even before I knew who she was, I said, you know what? The first person she talks to today is going to cry. And lo and behold, that's what happened. She berated a 15-year-old girl for falling a few times. Come to think of it, who's to say she ain't the fucking problem? Which is one good thing I saw that came out of the Olympics is the narrative was right from the beginning. It was this girl, this 15-year-old who tested positive for the banned substance, needed better people around her, may not necessarily be to blame for it. You have that cunt of a coach, you have whatever else is going on, but she shouldn't have competed. But it's not her fault she shouldn't have competed. It was one of the few times I heard a narrative like that, and I'm like, yeah, just right away they figured it out. Yeah, she's a 15-year-old child. And of course they're not going to have the same whatever. I could totally, God, that's what I hate about having the screen in front of me, totally see where edit points are going to have to be and where I'm going to have to do some more work. And you know what's the biggest problem? It's probably letting children compete in an adult world. The Olympics are an adult world. You let children compete in them, shit's going to go wonky and you're not going to know who to blame. And you're going to watch these fucking washed up 50-year-old broads with too much fucking fur on yelling at a 15-year-old girl. Oh, how could she? Well, that's how she got her there. I mean, Christ, that's how. We're gonna be so fucking surprised that isn't overdoing it. Oh man. And another thing I want everyone to stop doing. I go through Twitter and I would look, and every news story I saw about this girl, like, oh well, she can skate, but the Richardson girl who tested positive for marijuana couldn't even go to the Olympics. Stop. Your argument's hack. It's fucking stupid, and it's not even the same goddamn argument. The Richardson gal 100% knowingly did something that was against the rules. 100%. She did it under her own volition. I don't know if that's the word, but it sounds right. She sparked up a doobie. Huh? Knowing that it could jeopardize those things. And she admitted to it, which is all well and good. Now we jump over to a 15-year-old who has coaches and other people around her who are saying, hey, take this. This will help. This will help. This will help. No, this is fine. This is fine. It's an adult versus a child argument. And if that's the argument, you're basically saying that, you know what, this Richardson gal is allowed to be as naive as this 15-year-old Russian girl. So I don't get it. Are we supposed? But then an athlete does something, we're supposed to hold them to a higher standard. Pick one. It's a dumb argument. It's a hack argument. Shut the fuck up. Next person I hear makes that argument, I'm lopping off onto their toes. I'm gonna be the diabetes fairy and just take one of their toes. All right, to wrap up, I'm going to go with a public service announcement. I'm sorry I have to go into this, and I'm sorry, but we need to start holding our weather people to a higher standard. Oh, I'm sorry, that sounds like I'm going somewhere else with this. Now, who cares about how accurate or how not accurate they are? No, fuck it. If you're still watching the weather, yeah, you really got bigger shit to worry about than, how accurate they are. Here's the problem I have with weather people. We never hold their feet to the fire when it comes to their hypocrisy. The same weather person will get on there and he or she will say, oh, well, are we all excited for snow and winter's coming? And then 4 months later, it's like, oh, aren't we all tired of this snow? No, bitch, you were just happy for it. You can't be both. You pick one. I don't care which one, just pick one. Oh, man, I really don't want this extra 6 weeks of winter. Yes, you do. You were talking about how excited you were for the mountains to open up, you dumbass. We need more accountability when it comes to our weather people. And hey, maybe, just maybe, if you weren't so openly hypocritical, maybe some people would start coming back to you. But no, you know why people are going away from the news? You know why people are stopping all that? It's because you're full of shit. And it starts there. Alright, so if you're a weather person, you owe your viewers more. Pick a lane. Either be excited for summer and nice weather, or be excited for winter, but don't be both. And then maybe, just maybe, your industry won't be on the ropes the way it is from the internet. Whew. See, the reason they don't have to worry about it is because old people still watch the news nightly. They're not going to remember what this dude said 4 months ago. I thought he said he was excited for the snow, and now he doesn't like it? Well, that's enough for me. So, I want to thank everyone who listens, who continues to listen, who tells everybody about it, do all the liking and sharing stuff. Don't forget, I am selling shit on the store. It's there. You'll know where the links are. Yeah, that's, I think, all I got. So, since there's nothing else, since I wrapped up with a stupid weather joke, I will see you all next time.